Random thoughts. In this video, I'm going to acknowledge information that I was given. In a video I did say that in the Kikuyu, there were two sections of the society. There were the Kikuyu, and then there were the Maasai Kikuyu. And the two would carry out ceremonies differently, especially during the circumcision. And I did point out, or I read a part where C.W. Hoblis in his book says that while the Kikuyu use the mugumo for the rituals that were needed to be done during circumcision, the Maasai Kikuyu will use a MUTAMAIYU. And I said I didn't know what is the English word of the MUTAMAIYU, even though I know the tree actually is a tree that takes very long to grow and is very tough, hard wood. And it's used very well. It is liked very much for firewood because it's very good fuel actually. And somebody told me that MUTAMAIYU is actually an olive tree. And I was trying to do some research. It is called brown olive or African wild olive. So yeah, so the Maasai did treat the olive, the African olive tree, as they call it, the MUTAMAIYU, very sacred, and they will use it for different kinds of ceremonies. But the difference between the Maasai, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that while the Kikuyu were very careful with cutting down of the mugumo, I don't think the Maasai were that had those restrictions. Maybe I'm wrong, because I think the Maasai used the tree actually for firewood a lot. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you are allowed to take the tree that has fallen and use it for fuel, but not cut down. Could be. But I've not seen the Maasai having an issue with this olive tree being cut down. And it's my understanding that they use it for firewood a lot. But yeah, so there is that detail that this is a tree that, and this is a very common tree actually, especially in the so-called Rift Valley or the floor of the Rift Valley. It's a tree that is very common. It's becoming very rare, and I'm worried that in a few years we might never see this tree because it is really liked for its firewood, not for construction or for furniture. I don't think it's a good, it could be. I've not seen it being used for that purpose, but I think it could be used for that purpose. And the reason maybe it's not really preferred for furniture is because it doesn't really grow to be very straight. But I think it could be used for furniture. It's a very hard wood. I think the reason why it's disappearing is because it is really, really light for firewood. It's really, really good fuel. And now that's number one. Of course, that makes it very attractive to people to go and cut it down and use it for firewood. But number two, this is a tree that does not take like 5-10 years to grow. This is a tree that I think takes maybe 50, 70, 80 years to reach an average height. It's a tree that takes very, very, very long to grow. And I would think if I was to be asked, I grew up in an area where there was a lot of those trees and they are no longer there actually, and it's very unfortunate. If I was asked, I think maybe there should be some effort to protect that tree, if you ask me, not for religious reasons, but simply because it's a tree that takes very long to grow. And it's a tree that I have some attachment to the tree for some reasons. And I feel bad when I walk around the place I was raised up and I hardly see the tree, that it's almost not there anymore, like it's gone. And that's very, very, very unfortunate. And yeah, so thank you for the people who reached out and told me, yeah, that's an olive tree. Those are my random thoughts.